What's going out there, guys? Kevin McFarland, Doug Lamb, good to see you. Doug, I take you got your product, didn't you, bud? Get a few more people to join on here, and we'll start this thing up, guys. Good deal, Doug. I'm glad you finally got it, bud. I know you'll be putting it to good use. How you doing out there, Kevin? Got people blowing my phone up right now with some questions. We'll get to here in a little while. You got 8 different people that's actually working right now, sending some questions out. All right, we got a Facebook user saying, "Hey, Robbie, I don't know if that's either Mark Coleman or Jeff Johnson. For some reason, it always brings up a Facebook user, and we can't figure it out." Kevin, I'm glad to hear about the rain. I finally, Sunday, I finally got 1.5 inches of rain. First rain I've had in a month. No, 6 weeks. It's been crazy. Hey, John, how you doing on here, bud? And I'm very, very surprised on how good my clover still looked for being in such a drought. So finally got the rain on it. Got to get some of it mowed as soon as it tenders up. Cody, Jared's getting the rain now. Man, I can see the smile on your face. What's that old saying? You're smiling like a possum eating crap. I can see it. Oh, wait a minute. You don't like possums. I forgot about that. I'll think of a different one. Well, me and the dog just got off the side by side, took a ride out and looked at some deer down the road. Having a good old time. Almost forgot about the podcast tonight. Thank goodness for Stacy for reminding me, because I keep thinking today's Monday for some reason. I'm still messed up after Memorial Day weekend. All right, guys, let's fire this up. Got a bunch of guys on there. I got some questions on the phone here. People's chiming in right now on the phone for about the last 20 minutes, actually. But we talk about maintenance on food plots. We talk about what to plant, when to plant, how to plant, the whole 9 yards. But besides your pH of your soil, the next number one thing, which I'm going to call, I should say number two, but I'm going to say the next number one thing you need to do is proper soil prep. It has taken me a lot of years to get this figured out, to make a weed-free plot as much as I can. Any of you that's been on our website, you can get on there. I got a blog that I wrote about a weed-free food plot. That's kind of what I'm going to discuss tonight. I wrote it, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. Especially for a fall planting. When it comes to a fall planting, I will go in if Mother Nature allows me. Usually she does, because we're in a drought. This year we're in a drought early, so hopefully we're going to get the rains throughout the fall, I hope, late summer, early fall. But if it's dry enough, I always like working the ground 3 times when I'm doing fall planting, especially. And when I do that, I'm always going in with, I used to use Roundup to kill the area off. You know, I'm having issues now with Roundup. Everything is pretty much immune to the Roundup. Half the stuff it won't kill off anymore. So last year I switched over to using Liberty. A little bit more expensive, but I'll tell you what, I haven't found anything it won't kill. It is unbelievable how good it is. So I'll go in and mix some Plot Max or soil conditioner with the Liberty. I'll spray it. I'll kill the area off. Then I'll get in there and I'll work that soil. Usually I'll get it down to about 6 to 8 inches deep. I'll work that soil pretty heavy, knowing that I am going to be tilling it again. If I know I'm not going to be tilling it again, I'll only work that soil about 3 inches deep at the max, 2 to 3. But with the way I like doing it with 3 different tillings, I will go in there, like I said, take my Liberty, take my Plot Max, spray it, kill the area off. When I start seeing a good burn on it, I'll get in there and I'll till it down 6 to 8 inches. I personally use a disc. You can use a tiller, but I use a disc on everything. I'll disc it nice and neat. I will just let it set. And when it starts greening up again, gets about 1 or 2 inches tall, I'll go in there. I will spray and kill it off again. The same time, I'm putting more Plot Max down because the more soil conditioner you put down, the better off you are. I'll mix it right with that Liberty. Then I'll go in and I'll lightly disc that area about 4 inches deep after it kills off and I get a burn to it. I do that for the third time. I let it start greening back up because every time you work that soil, you're going to bring that weed seed up. So I know it's a lot of steps. It's a lot more money in herbicide, but I'll tell you what, starting at that 8 inch, going to a 4 inch, and then my third one, I'm only scuffing up the top layer of soil. When I mean top layer, if I could only do 1 inch, I would, but it's kind of hard to do that with a disc. So 1 or 2, that's all I'm doing. I'll go in there after I get that good burn on that third one, and I will just go ahead and lightly disc that as light as I can, 1 to 2 inches, and that's when I'm going to go in there with my Packer, compact it, seed it and compact it again, depending on what I'm planting. Now, like with actually every mix right here you see, No Sweat, Grade 8, Southern Greens, Lights Out, Honey Hole, Slam Dunk, Trophy Clover, Game Changer, Lunar Buffet. All these right here, I am going to call the pack first, broadcast them, call the pack again. Now, I got some red zone sitting over here, which is our soybean and pea blend. With that light disking that last time, the soil is usually still pretty firm because it's been a couple, 2 to 3 weeks prior to me killing it off, to spraying it to kill it off, from tilling it for the second time. It's pretty firm soil underneath. I got that light coating 1 or 2 inches that I just lightly bust up. I will broadcast my red zone and then call the packet. I won't call the packet first because I want to push them seeds in a little deeper. So usually if I call the packet and then put the red zone down and then call the packet again, I'm going to have issues there. You're going to see a lot of seeds still sticking up. Turkey's going to get in there, wipe them out. Lights Out, depending on how fluffy your soil is. If it's very firm, you might just want to go ahead and take your Lights Out and your fall, winter, spring and broadcast them and then call the pack them. Don't call the pack first. But if it's a little bit looser, you can get by with it. But the red zone, fall, winter, spring, Lights Out, them are the 3 right there that you definitely want to get a little deeper because of the cereal rye, the oats, the peas, the soybeans, stuff like that. But call the packing, I cannot push call the packing enough. And I look on here, I was going through some of my graphics on here today. Everybody knows that I'm a diehard Packer Max guy. Guys, I'm not sponsored by Packer Max. I know the owner Lincoln very well. He has an awesome product. This is the cat's meow when it comes to a food plot. I don't care if you're doing 3 or 4 acres or if you're doing a little tiny backwoods plot. This filled full of water is going to give you exactly what you want. And I know it sounds like a commercial for Lincoln, and it's not. I'm not meaning that. I just push the products that do well for me. My buddy Eric Kibler, before Lincoln bought Packer Max, he owned the original owner, and I love that thing. I finally got my hands on one. I met Lincoln after he bought it, and I have the 4 foot model. This one here. I also have uh, the kit where I actually have 2 of them. I can hook them together. I'm 8 foot wide. They just came out with a 6 foot wide one. That is one thing that I always, because I am so anal and OCD, that one thing that I really looked at was behind my 3-wheeler, which pulls it unbelievably easily, it covers my tire tracks. But on the side by side, this unit here, it just wasn't wide enough to cover my tire tracks. Well, Lincoln helped me out there by building this 6-footer. It works out perfect. Now, it not covering the tire tracks, that don't mean nothing. But to me, I'm just anal when it comes to that, guys. So, I mean, that Packer Max is probably, I know you need a tiller. I know you need a disc to break the soil up. But I can't plant a food plot anymore without the use of that Packer Max. I mean, I'm that much of a diehard. I mean, they're like, again, the cat's me out. You cannot beat a Packer Max or call the Packer. You can drain the water out of it. You can fill it full of water or sand, doesn't matter. I use water. I got a 50-gallon bulk tank that goes right on my trailer. I haul it empty when I get down there. I hook the battery right up to my pump on the bulk tank, fill it up, do all my cold packing. I drain the water out of it, and I'm good to go. It's light again. You can actually literally pick it up and put it on your trailer if you don't want to pull it up on there as your quad. So, again, not trying to sound like a commercial here. I apologize. You'd think a guy from Antler King that works for Antler King would be pushing Antler King, but I'm pushing Packer Max. But when you got the best seed, you need the best cold packer. So that's why I pushed it, guys. But no, a firm seed bed is a must. You have to have a firm seed bed to get in there, get that seed down. Collar packing is a great way. That's a perfect way to go. For years, I drug a food plot. I used chain link fence. I use an old disc harrow. It just depends on what you got in the soil. Is you can get seeds way too deep by dragging them, especially if you don't compact that soil. If you can compact the soil and you feel more comfortable dragging it lightly with a piece of chain link fence with a 6x6 or something like that on it, or some blocks on it, after you compact the soil and broadcast, if you can do it lightly and not cover them too deep, there's no issue with that. But always seed onto a firm seed bed, unless it's like our red zone, our fall, winter, spring, and our lights out. You definitely want to get a little bit more compaction with your seed there. So a lot of times you can do that broadcast prior to call the packing. All the other ones, I will not plant them without compacting the soil first. So again, that's how I like doing mine. That's kind of what I call the 3-step. I kill off, I disc 8 inches, I kill off, I disc 4 inches, I kill off, I try to disc 1 inch or 2, compact, broadcast the seed, compact again, and pray for Mother Nature to give us some rain. That's just my go-to. So now, you guys heard me talk many, many times about tillers. I know probably most of you on here have tillers. I'm not a big fan of a tiller. Let me rephrase that. I am a big fan of a tiller. I'm not a big fan of a tiller for somebody that don't know how to use one. When you till your food plot with a tiller, especially on back of a tractor, it does not have to look like your garden. You do not have to get it 8 to 10 inches deep, turn it to powder, fluffy. You do not want that. If you're doing that, you're going to need to pack and pack and pack as hard as you can to get that soil compacted back down. Because the first rain you get by broadcasting seed over something that's that fluffy, it's just going to drive it 2, 3, 4 inches down the soil. You're going to lose germination. The plot's not going to grow. You're going to call me and complain because the seed didn't grow. So if I can press anything, that is only if you're using a tiller, set them legs down to where it's actually going to go 2 to 3 inches at the most, and then always call the packet afterwards. but you do not have to run over that 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9 times and make it like your garden, and that you're going to turn to powder so you can run your hose through there to make your you don't have to do that. So I like personally myself, I love a disc. I really, really do. Um, and I have a disc that I got two of. I actually got three, but the one I use mostly is the lightest disc I got. It doesn't cut very good, and that's why I like it. I don't want it to get in there and just eat stuff up, because the more you eat up, the more it's going to turn to powder, the more weed seed you're going to pull up. And if you don't do like the 3-step method like I do, and if you just go in there and tear it up, call the packet, seed it, especially if you're using something that takes a lot of nitrogen like honey hole, slam dunk, stuff like that, you pour the nitrogen to it, the weed and grass seeds that are in that mix or in that soil are going to germinate, they're going to bounce up, and you're going to have a weedy mess. So really, really watch what you're doing there when it comes to using a tiller. All right, I got some guys throwing stuff on here. Let me look what we got here. Eric's on here. What state you in? Buddy, our company is out of Upper Sandusky, Ohio. I work from home. I'm in central Illinois, the eastern side of Illinois, kind of east central. We're originally out of Black River Falls, Wisconsin. We were there for 31 years. All right, Mark, you don't have a tiller or a disc. What can I pull behind my garden tractor or my 3-wheel bike? So I have to use a rake and hand broadcast everything. I've had great results using the AK on my farm. Oh yeah. Buddy, I want to see you put a tiller on back of that 3-wheel bike. That's what I want to see. I've seen you have a Packer Max behind it. I've seen that. I want to see you with a tiller on it. And you know, they make them them pull behind tillers. They got that little 8-horse gas engine on them. That's what you need to find. Ask Mama to buy you one for Christmas. You got to get one. See what we got here, guys. Eric, if you're still on here, where are you from, bud? I'm waiting for Eric there. I'll tell you what, guys, I had people blow my phone up the last half hour before I fired this up. Some questions there. And that's actually a very good one. A lot of people ask me, especially, and it kind of fits right in with this soil prep. How deep do you plant most of these? On our bags, you will see on the back, it's going to tell you the depth that you need to plant them. But many of you have heard me say this before, never plant a seed over 3 times deeper than the diameter of the seed. So if you take, the alfalfa, clovers, honey, any of these except for like the lights out and stuff, I don't want them in there an eighth of an inch, because they're a pencil lead seed. Eighth of an inch is almost too much. Now you get in there to your oats, stuff like that, 1/4 inch. Cereal rye, you can get in there that 3/4. Barricade, get in there that 3/4. I always tell everybody, try not to get anything over a 1/4 inch deep, just be on the safe side. But when it comes to like honey hole, our clovers, our alfalfas, I would really, if you got Mother Nature coming in with the rain, broadcast that stuff over, let Mother Nature set it for you. You're not going to get it too deep. As long as you got a good firm seed bed, you're going to be good to go. So, but an old farmer told me, never plant anything deeper than 3 times the diameter of the seed. So look at that seed, see what you got. So that's something that has stuck with me for forever here. Other question we got here, kind of touched on what we did last couple weeks ago, asking if there is anything that you can spray on honey hole to kill grasses out of it. Clethodim, we talk about all the time. Clethodim, you can spray to kill the grasses out of it. Do not spray a broadleaf killer on it. Do not spray the 2,4-DB on it. The Clethodim will kill the grasses. Just let the plants get up and smother out them other weeds and stuff like that. And usually they smother out the grasses too. Another one here, seed setting. I get this question a lot, guys. I get people calling me daily. I think I've had it twice today, 2 or 3 times today, actually. Where do I set my seeder for a certain mix? Today, it was all honey hole. I think it was 3 different people on honey hole. I have found I have probably 8 or 9 seeders from on back to a quad that I do not recommend using. I just use it for fertilizer and stuff like that. Now, the hand broadcasters, the bag broadcasters, solo, I have found, you know, they're all numbered 1 through whatever seeder you got, 1 through 4, 1 through 8, 1 through 10. I have not found any of them that are hardly even close to being the same as the other. So I tell everybody when it comes to a seed like that, especially like honey hole, our trophy clover, game changer clover, Booner buffet, or alfalfa clover chicory mix, set that seeder to the lightest setting that you can, where that seed will just drop out. You don't want it pouring out. You want to be able to walk through there and turn that and really look like, is anything even coming out? And I do that all the time. When I'm walking and I'm broadcasting, every once in a while, I'll pull my seeder up, kind of tip it up so I can see that fan, because I can't tell what's coming out because I want it so fine. I don't want that food plot to grow up 2 to 3 inches and look like a golf course. I want it spotty because that's going to give them the room for growth. If it looks like a golf course and there ain't no exposed dirt anywhere, usually you got it seeded too heavy. So lightly coming out, walk a good steady hard walk. No just standing around, just get going with it. John's on here asking if you mix Roundup and 2,4-D, does that work as well as Liberty? I'll tell you what, John, the negative thing I do not like about 2,4-D, 2,4-D has a residual to it. If you spray 2,4-D on a food plot, you need to wait a minimum of 30 days for that to get out of the soil. So, because it will actually kill them living seeds when you seed them, you get a rain on them, that residual will kill that living seed. And actually, if you read up on 2,4-D, it could last up to 3 months. So, but usually 30 days, you're pretty safe. But yeah, there are 2 good ones right there you mix together. But truthfully, bud, Roundup and 2,4-D, if you're not worried about the residual, you can buy Liberty cheaper than you can buy both of them put together. So a lot cheaper. But yeah, if you're not worried about the residual on it and having to wait, you can do that just fine. Mark's on here talking about Antler King makes creating food plots easy. They have done all the work for you. Just follow the instructions on the bag. Love it. Absolutely, Mark. They do. I mean, these bags are just, I'm trying to think, where's a big bag that you can see something? I guess the No Sweat really is. I mean, it tells you everything about it, tells you everything that's in it. Now, one thing I would like to say, and I don't have it here in front of me, but the lights out, talking about making it easy. And this is kind of getting off the preparation, but I just want people to know this. People, you look at the lights out. I don't know if I can get this off here. If I'll drop it or not. Oh. But if you look at this lights out bag, you're looking at a bag that says it has 89% winter oats in it. It has, holy cow, I'm going to try to read it here. 5% rape, 4% turnip. When people read that, they think, man, that is just a bag of oats. 89% oats. And it's only 4% rape, 5% rape, 4% turnip. The crazy thing about that is, guys, there's more brassicas, the turnips, because of the number of seeds that it takes there's more turnips and brassicas in there than there actually is oats. And actually on our website, you can go on there and you can see a video that I got on there of Todd actually walking everybody through how to read a seed label. And you can tell exactly how many seeds are in that. Just like clover, you're looking at 400,000 seeds per pound. You know, you're getting in that with the rape and the turnips here, especially the rape, where the oats, there's not as many seeds per pound. So when you do that percentage, it's by pound of seed. So you're going to take that number that it takes to make that pound, and you're going to see that there's way more turnips and way more rape in there, which makes it more of a brassica plot than an oat plot. So it's more of a brassica plot with a filler of oats. And everybody else thinks just because it says 89% oats that it's all oats, but it's completely wrong. So get on the website, you can really read that, and it's pretty interesting. Actually, not going to read it, you're going to watch it. It's actually a very good video that Todd did. John, you're welcome, bud. Yeah, that 2,4-D. That's usually the first thing I ask anybody when they call me and they tell me that, hey, I planted this, we got a good rain, I don't really have no germination, it's not growing very good. And the first thing I ask them, what do you spray? And 99% of the time they say 2,4-D, and they don't realize it. And that 2,4-D will, you'll just lose it. So minimum 30 days. But 2,4-D will put a killing on a lot, which is good, as long as you got time to wait. All right, let's see another question here. I know these guys are hard at work, and there we go. A gentleman asking about barricade, wanting to know how deep to plant barricade. You know, you can get that barricade down almost 3/4 of an inch. 1/4 inch is all I'll go with it. That's all I want to go with it. I don't want to take any chance of losing any of it. Putting it 3/4 inches in and then get a hard rain and the seed bed might not be as firm as it should be. It could push it too deep. I like going that 1/8 to 1/4 inch, and it does very well. John, are you looking for? I see you're here asking about a clover-based plot. Are you looking for a sunny area or a shaded type area? What are you looking for, bud? Sunny area. Mark just hit it right there with the trophy clover for full sun, game changer clover for shaded areas. We do have the Booner Buffet. The Booner Buffet is actually an alfalfa, clover, and chicory mix. And then our trophy clover, this is my baby. 4 different varieties of forage perennial clovers, a variety of chicory. It does have a variety of brassica in it for the first year for a nurse crop to help with them weeds and grass issues. Getting a good 7 years of growth out of it. The Booner Buffet, a good 5 years of growth out of one planting. But the trophy clover for a sunny plot, good soil, I'll put it up against anything. I tell people all the time, if they fire me today, I'll plant it tomorrow. That's how much I like that bag right there. That's my favorite. Mark's kind of touching on here with the soil pH. Like I said at the beginning of it, there's 2 number 1 steps: testing that soil and we're getting that soil prepped the right way. You can prep your soil all you want. If your pH is way too low and you're using a premium variety, you'll never get optimal growth out of it. So always check that pH. You can't beat that little $15 kit right there. That will actually do 4 different plots for $15. You know the results right in your hand and within 20 minutes. Excellent. So the best thing you could ever buy, besides Antler King seed, then you can, you know what I mean. You know how it is. All right. Now I got somebody on here asking me for my autograph. I don't know who that is. Somebody, I don't even know whose number that is. Holy cow, what's this question? I got another one here. Jim on here I've been working with Jim quite a bit. Jim's a heck of a good old boy. Got a lot of property in Iowa. He's asking on here, is it okay to run a disc harrow to cover seed? Now, I said it earlier in the video, I have used a disc harrow for many years, but what I do with a disc harrow, I will run it backwards and I will lay it down. I won't stand the teeth straight up and down. I lay them down so that it's just pretty much a drag. And I will lightly go over it that way before I started using a Calder-Packer years ago. So don't stand them up or it's going to rip your soil. You're going to put way too much seed in. So now if you want to rip the soil up with it, I've used them many a times and little backwood plots on back the three-wheeler like I can get tractor to and flip that thing around, stand them up and actually lean them forward and it'll rip a plot up pretty good. As long as you don't got a lot of grass in it. You got a lot of grass in it, wants to hop around. But as in covering the seed, you can get it too deep in a hurry. Mark Coleman, Robbie, in your opinion, what is the best size of a food plot to plant? Is there such thing as too big or too small of a food plot? There's no such thing as too small of a food plot, as long as you know what to plant in it. You know, when it comes to planting a property, we highly recommend 10% of the property be food. Now, don't get me wrong. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody wants to rip up their property. I have one property that is not 10% food just because I can't make myself tear up any more area in this property because I love it so much. I like how the deer use it. I just plant things that I know that's going to last. So these smaller plots, I'm probably looking about 6% planted on the property. So these smaller plots and areas, kill plots, I actually plant things that will last longer. So if you're taking a small plot, let's say you can only plant an 1/8 acre. And truthfully, guys, an 1/8 acre, that is big compared to some of them that some people plant. I have people that will call up and, you know, they're planting a 20-foot wide strip, 60-foot long. Hey, plant it. Let the deer eat it. But here's what you need to plant in it. So if I had an 1/8 acre plot, I'm not going to go in with our number one honey hole. I use honey hole and slam dunk mixed together. I love it. It's my favorite all season food source with a lot of late season, but I won't plant it in a single 1/8 acre plot on the whole property. I won't do it because the deer will completely destroy it. It'll be gone when hunting season comes around. It's done. Have a little bit there for the cold winter, but not very much. What I want to go in with, I want to go in with something like our fall, winter, spring. You got the cereal rye in it that as much as the deer eat it, it's going to continue to grow. It's going to last longer into the year. And a good thing about it is cereal rye will actually act like a perennial for that first year. It'll go dormant with the frost. And then the spring green up, about a month earlier than the spring green up, it's going to start greening up and offer about a 30% protein to the deer and whatever else eats it. Till here in Illinois, in my area, it stays till about June before it starts dying off. So I want something that's going to continue that. Now, if I got a good little 1/8 acre plot that's sunny, I'll plant my clover. You know, because I know my clover, especially my trophy clover, with the high protein, with the amount of forage it is per acre. I mean, if you get that soil up to a 7.0, you get good sun, you get your good moisture on it. You're looking at, when we test it, we're testing it right at about, 10 tons per acre of forage. So an 1/8 acre plot, you can get a lot of forage in that's going to continue growing. It's going to stay green through the winter. It's not going to turn brown way over and die. So, but as an annual fall planting, I'm going to go with fall, winter, spring. Now, our Great 8, it does have some cereal rye in it, and it's got some other goodies in it. That's another one you could go with. It's going to do pretty well. But I want something that's going to continue growing as them deer eat it off. So fall, winter, spring is my baby when it comes to that small plot. So, but no, again, Mark, there's no such thing as too big or too small of a plot. The thing that I notice with a lot of people, I've been on quite a few farms that a lot of people think they need to plant everything they can and then wonder why they can't kill a deer on it. And I was on a farm up north 6, 7 years ago. logging roads all through it, food plots all over. And they had everything planted, every logging road, four-wheeler trail. And I'm talking miles of them through the woods, not just a little one going here to the other side of my house going into a food plot. I'm talking miles of them in this woods, just all wrapped around everywhere. Big logging roads, logging landings, kill plots. I mean, everything. I like setting up a property where I have a food source that I call a food plot. That's where my trophy clover is going to be. That's where the deer are going to come to. That's where they're going to feel safe. I'm not going to booger them out of there. I'm not going to hunt that plot. That's their dinner bell or dinner bucket all season long. Now, when it comes to my kill plots, they're my little ones that I space out where I am going to hunt for different winds. And we all know how that goes. The deer on one, the wind changes, you go to a different spot, you know how it goes. And you just play cat and mouse. But I set them up for different wind directions is what I do mine, because how my property works, feeding the bedding, stuff like that, I really got to play with it the right way, or I can booger the deer out pretty easily. That's why the one property, I'm only looking about 6% of the property being food, because if I go any more, even though I don't want to tear the property out, I'm going to take a chance of boogering a lot of deer trying to hunt areas I should not be trying to hunt. So I have found where a lot of people put too much food in, and then they go and try to hunt certain areas because their cameras are showing them deer on a logging road, and they normally hunt this food plot, and that deer would be in that food plot eating if they didn't plant this logging road. So they go and try hunting the logging road. The wind's wrong. They booger mature deer out. It only takes one time to booger that big old mature buck out. He's going to find another home. So that's when it comes to saying too big. That's the only thing I could say too big is having too much spread out on your property. But actually, the plot size, no. I don't care if it's an 1/8 acre. I don't care if it's a 6 acre you're standing in front of. I mean, it's all good. That is a great question, though, Mark. I appreciate that. But again, small plots, pick out the right thing to use. Everybody looks at our honey hole. That is our #1 seller. Fall planting for 31 years this year. This August will be 31 years old. It's still our #1 annual selling mix. Everybody knows this from honey hole. But if you go plant it in a little 1/10 of an acre plot, the deer are going to destroy it within about 3 days. When it turns sweet, it's gone. So that's more, you get in that 1/2 acre and they really destroy it there too. But acre and bigger, them deer you're going to have a lot of late season food. I think I got 2 more here, guys. Anything on here, you guys, just ask away, guys. I don't want to miss these guys up here just because they're hard at work tonight. Oh, my old buddy Greg. Man, he's asked me a lot of questions in the last day and a half. Holy cow. Pretty good one right here. You know, we do have our no sweat and our game changer clover, which is our minimum till plots. So hand rake, pump up sprayer, soil preparation, that's all you need. Get in there, kill the area off, rake off all the dead debris, and preferably broadcast prior to a rain. To let Mother Nature set that seed for you. It's going to do a lot better for you, especially backwood plot, stuff like that. Greg's actually asking about honey hole, if he can do that with honey hole. Again, yes, you can, but with Greg, and I know he's going to watch this probably later on the night when he gets off of work, but I'll text him and let him know. Again, it's like I said, honey hole. If it's a real small area, which I'm pretty sure I know the plot he's talking about, it's just not going to provide the food throughout the winter that he's going to want. So I'm going to have to push him towards like the fall, winter, spring, the grade 8, something like that. But yeah, you can plant the honey hole with a no-till type application and do very, very well. But this depends on how big that plot is. So usually when you're talking about a hand rake, you're talking about a smaller area. Mark, how important is it to have a water source near where you plant your food plots? Same for bedding area, strategy is key, right? Yep, absolutely. Stand placement, wind direction, access to and from your stand. Yeah, if you're talking about building a food plot and you're just going to go into a virgin piece somewhere and think, okay, I want a food plot right here. The number one thing is check your prevailing winds for during that you normally have during your deer season. I have so many people that have went in and even hired. I know a gentleman right now that spent $3,500 on a dozer and an operator to come in and clear him out a food plot 2 years ago, and realized after he did it, he didn't think about the wind for him setting a blind up in it, and he can't get in and out of it without burgering deer. So always set that up where you know you can get in and out of that blind without being detected. Yes, you can use something like our barricade, but when it comes to the wind direction, you're that deer. I don't care what you use, that deer is still going to smell you. So make sure that you set it up that you can hunt that plot with the prevailing winds that you would normally have before going out there and doing all the blood, sweat, and tears. So, because it will cause a lot of tears later. I have plots that I would love to hunt. Excuse me. There's set one plot that is set up just for a west wind. That's all I can hunt it with. I can't hunt with nothing else. A west wind. I would give anything if I can hunt that with an east wind. I can't do it. But other areas you can, but it's just going to depend on your bedding. Them deer, you know how they are. Feed to bed, bed to feed, the whole nine. You know how it is. So you just really got to do your homework and see how they are. Look at, like, talk about watering holes. You know, watering holes are a great thing. You can make your own, or if you have ponds, you got creeks going through your property. Watering holes are great. The only thing I talk about with watering holes is watch your stagnant water. Make sure it's something that you can fill top off if the deer aren't hitting as much. Just want to watch that stagnant water through the summer. But as in non-wind direction related, the barricade product that we have, it just works phenomenal when it comes to entering and exiting a food. Let's just say not a food plot, but a stand. You know, if you're walking around the edge of a cornfield or anything like that. I actually think I have I've put on here before. Yeah, just like there, the barricade. I mean, this blocking where you can walk behind it. I mean, I know Eric walks his right here past his tractor where the tractor's at, walks around the deer right on the other side of that barricade undetected. So, I mean, it's a great thing. It's not going to help you with wind direction, but it's going to help you with the viewing of yourself. You didn't want to take that away. And actually, guys, for the one, I'm just going to throw it on here, that asked me about spraying honey hole for grass control. Right there is your clethodim right there. The clethodim is the best thing ever to use when it comes to grass control in that plot. But let's get back here to these chats here, see what I'm missing. I think I got one more on the old phone to answer, and I think we're good there. Old Packer Max is on here. Man, I hope he didn't hear what I was just talking to him about in the beginning. Man, oh man. I don't know, maybe he should. Maybe I'll start getting some money out of it or something. I don't know. I'm still waiting for that 6-foot Packer Max that hadn't showed up yet, but I don't know. I guess I'll just keep waiting. All right, Mark Coleman, I know you got another question. You always do, buddy. You got them all. You're the one that always keeps me on my toes. While you're thinking of something else to ask me, I'm going to look up this last one I got here from Jim here. Hold on. Well, Lincoln, I just wonder what list I'm on, bro. Oh, man, you need to come to Nashville. I'm going to be in Nashville for that open season show in August. You need to come. I need somebody to buy me a steak dinner. All right, let's see what Jim has to say here. Jim's asking if sunlight makes a big difference. It depends on what you're planting. Shaded areas, no sweat, game changer clover, gonna work great for the shaded areas. Sunny areas, everything's gonna work great. So even though you have a mix that, let's say, no sweat, shade tolerant, pH tolerant, grows very well. If you bump that pH up, if you get more sun, that plot's just going to flourish even more. So if you could go out in an area with a 5.5 pH in a shaded area, getting sun about 3 to 4 hours a day, and plant it, and then go out in an open area and bump that up to a 6.5 to a 7.0 pH with 6, 7, 8 hours of sun a day, you will be blown away with the results that you will get. I mean, same way with like using our Jolt. Get in there when you're prepping that soil for the annual plots. Mix that Jolt right in there. Like when I'm talking about my 3 steps on how I till my plots on an annual one, I'm mixing my Jolt right in. I'm putting it right into the soil at the same time too. So that any little thing like that can really help you. But I will tell you, buy the fertilizer, buy the Jolt. Anything nitrogen is gonna help them weeds and grasses really explode. So you really want to watch that. One thing I guess I never did tell you on my 3 steps there that I do, the first tillage I do, I always add my fertilizer and then till that first time because I want that to get in that soil and break down. The reason I put it in the soil, it breaks down quicker, and nitrogen, especially granular, is sitting on the top. You will lose the nitrogen level by evaporation. So you want to get that nitrogen into the soil. Oh, yeah. Packer, he's going to be in Alabama. Man. All right, whatever, I guess. Mark Coleman, for anyone new to the show, how is the best way to purchase Antler King products online, local stores, pro style dealers? Man, you got all the questions, Mark. I'm telling you. Well, free shipping at antlerking.com. You know, you get on the website, order free shipping. It's always free shipping. Local dealers, big box stores, key accounts. Get on the website, go to the dealer search, type in your zip code, however many miles in a radius you want. It'll tell you the dealers that are in your area. I will tell you this, Tractor Supply is one of our largest dealers. But a lot of people don't realize it because they only put in a fall event. That fall event they usually bring in June, first part of July. When it's gone, it's pretty much gone of all their hunting stuff. That's why you see stuff marked down into the year, first of the spring, trying to get rid of it, get all their lawn and garden stuff brought back in. But they have so many stores. So you will notice on a dealer locate search how many Tractor Supplies that are in your area that carry our products. I always tell people call ahead of time because they sell out quick. And they bring in a bunch, but they sell out quick. But yeah, Rural Kings, you know, Big R stores, Fleet Farms, Tyson's, Family Farm and Home. I mean, they're all different stores all over. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Blaine's Farm and Fleet actually took on a bunch more products. Rural King took on a bunch more. The Blaine's Farm and Fleet really blew me away this year on what they did. They're carrying 99% of everything we got. I mean, it's crazy, and they're carrying it by the pallet loads. So really proud of that. But yeah, online, anywhere like that. I mean, now I'm going to tell you this. We have an Amazon account. Make sure you're dealing with Antler King because there's always third-party companies out there that have. Now, Sportsman's Warehouse is online. A lot of people buy from Sportsman's Warehouse. Very, very good. But again, we're free shipping. So I try letting everybody know, just order straight from us. You're going to get the freshest seed. It ships out fast, and it's free shipping. So, but watch out for the third-party dealers on Amazon, places like that, because you never know how old the seed you're going to get. When you get it, look on that tag on the back. It's going to give you the test date when that was tested. All of our seeds have test dates on it. so you can always tell how fresh of a seed you got. But yeah, that's the best way to go. I mean, I try to steer everybody towards our online. Uh, if they're wanting to order online, I want everybody to go to our dealers and go to them, the Blaines, the Real Kings, all types, all the mom and pop shops. I mean, we got thousands of dealers that sell for us, and you'll find them on the website in your areas. I want you to buy from every single one of them before you even do our website. But if you can only do it online, you're going to get the freshest quality seed from us personally with free shipping. Great question, Mark. Well, that takes care of all the questions I got text to me earlier, I think. Let me check this email real quick. I might have another one. Oh, I do. Old Billy. Billy's wanting to know, Billy, you know better than this. I hope you're just asking so I tell people. Is it good to water your food plot in a drought? I'm glad he brought that up. He's probably listening to this right now and knows I haven't said it. If you can't put 30,000 gallons of water, actually, let's go about 44,000 gallons of water per acre, don't water your food plots. Going out there in a drought type situation after you plant a seed, it's not germinated. You take a 500 gallon tank out there, or your sprayer on back of your ATV that you use chemicals in, and load 25 gallon of water up, spray over your plot. It looks pretty, guys, but you're actually hurting that seed more than anything. It takes a good 1 inch of rain, and to get that, you're close to that 40,000 gallons of water. And so going out there, freshly planted seed, setting in the ground, you're in a drought, you dump 500 gallons of water on that acre plot, the seed gets wet, gets moist, don't have enough for germination, it will literally it can rot on you, and you don't want that, because you can go out there, just like my barricade, which I think you guys, if anybody's following me on Facebook on the Food Plot and Deer Management page, I posted on there my barricade that I planted a month ago, that it still looks like the day that I took the picture, it looks just like the day that I tilled it a month later, because we've had this drought for the last 6 weeks. Well, I planted it on a day that was supposed to be getting rain that evening, did not get it, never received any until this past Sunday. So I've been kind of doing a diary on it and taking a bunch of pictures. A month later, after we finally got this rain, it's starting to germinate. It actually, the day it rained Sunday, I went Sunday evening and I got sprouts coming up. That seed will just lay there. It'll lay there dormant. Leave it alone. Try not to water it unless you can put that kind of water to it in a timely manner and do it quite often. I would not do it. So, all right, will Antler King ever have an app that you can help with recommending planting dates, a calendar to record when you burn off plots? That's actually a pretty good idea. That's actually a very good idea. Mark's talking about an app that you can actually record when you planted, your planting dates, if you burn off a plot, when you planted it, when it started germinating, a GPS map to mark measurements on your plot. That's a very good idea, bud. I'm gonna have to do some research on that. I really like that. I don't know why I can't think of these things. I'll tell you right now, that just, you sparked my interest on that one, Mark. We're definitely going to look into that. I definitely will. Very good idea. All right, let me roll up here, see if I'm not missing something here, because we're right almost at the end of it here. Kevin asked what would be, excuse me, the minimum size plot you would recommend for honey hole. It's really going to mount, Kevin, on the number of deer you actually have on your farm. You know, I run on one of my farms, I run an acre of honey hole. It doesn't get me all the way through the winter, but it gets me pretty good ways through there. So I've had to expand it on that farm to get more. But with that now, as I expanded it, I add slam dunk to it too. So I'm getting the early season all the way till the the late season with a lot of late season food actually. But if you got a farm with that, you're not just getting 40, 50 does out in it every night. A half acre of honey hole will go a very long ways for a late season food source. Now, where you really need to look at it, let's say our southern greens. That's our new one. The southern greens has collard greens in it, which collard greens is a brassica that does not need the frost to turn it sweet. So the deer are going to eat it up as it grows. So it also has radish in it. It's got winter wheat in it. So it's got enough in it to hold deer on the property, but they could eat that collard greens up pretty quick. But then you're going to have the radish that needs that frost for later in the year. So a plot like that, minimum probably half acre, minimum. I planted 3 acres of it last year. Well, let me start this. I planted an acre of it testing it 2 years ago. I opened up to 3 acres. This year I'm going double that because the deer devour it. They love it. Actually, both bucks and the 3 does I shot last year were all off that southern greens plot. I cannot believe it. I liked it so much that I actually took away an acre and a half of honey hole and slam dunk and planted the southern greens. I opened that plot to that 3 acres last year. It's amazing. We developed that for up down south, and come to find out the deer love it up north just as much as they do down south. And I'm a big fan of it. Again, I'm planting a lot more of it this year. John, I appreciate it, man. I really do. I look forward to seeing you on here next couple of weeks. We're going to continue this all the way till September, end of September. Deer season will start firing up, and I know everybody's going to be hunting, and they're not going to be wanting to listen to me on. Well, if you're going to listen to me, you're probably going to listen to me from the tree stand come that time. But Mark, yep, highly recommend Southern Greens. It is unbelievable. It really is. I've turned a lot of people onto that mix, and they just can't believe it. Well, guys, it's 9 o'clock. They're going to make me get off here. I already see the red light flashing on here right now. So, but it's been great like always, man. You guys got any questions? Call me up, ask me. I'm here to help you. You know that. If I don't know the answer, I'll make one up, make you think I did. So, you guys have a good night. You take care.